Hello everyone. So today I would like to discuss a spell for inner peace and realization. What I have here is a blue candle. Now blue is the color of our causal body. You sometimes see Hindu gods with blue skin. It represents causal, or beyond the material, beyond the astral, and all the way to the causal, the realm of the gods, where universes are created from and imagined from. Now, if we have inner turmoil or we are not at peace within, this usually means that some part of ourself is not communicating with another part. Even if you are lonely, there's some disconnect within. Sometimes we just need to be guided by our higher self, by the spirit within us, the soul that inhabits this body, and it has inhabited many and will inhabit many more. Blue is causal, as I said. Here I have a piece of selenite tied to the candle, and then a piece of parchment. Selenite is just good for getting energy flowing, for channeling energy. It's a good conduit. And beneath I have a piece of parchment with Thurisaz written upon it. So Thurisaz is a rune that's really come for me recently. It really come through for me. And it came to my mind. It came to my mind in a drawing. It came to my attention through a rune drawing. And shortly after, I changed some things spiritually. I became more than I was. I devoted myself more intently to my spiritual path. And some wonderful things happened. And I began to meditate more, get closer to Makali, and a number of other things. It gave me some realizations. So even if a rune isn't perhaps the best one that you would kind of choose for a given spell, sometimes your closeness to a rune, sometimes your affiliation with it, sometimes your reliance upon it in recent times, sometimes that rune is the rune for you. So Thurisaz is the one I drew about a month ago, and I carried it as a talisman on a piece of parchment. So Thurisaz is usually considered kind of the guardian and the gate. It's the rune of Thor, son of Odin, wielder of Mjolnir. And Thurisaz is also considered as kind of the thorn and the flower. Both the thing that could harm you if you grasp it too tightly or inappropriately try to pluck it, and the flower itself, and the path itself. There's a lot of path runes, there's a lot of opening runes, there's a lot of kind of portal runes in the Elder Futhark. Thurisaz is the one that I've chosen for this spell. So what I'm going to rub on the candle is a bit of eucalyptus oil. This is some pretty potent stuff, but eucalyptus is very good for both elevating energy, but also really heightening the senses, really bringing your senses to crispness, and whatever brings our senses to crispness will bring energy to crispness. And it also has a bit of a blessing effect, a very herbal, very natural effect. It's one of the most earthy oils, yet elevating oils that I honestly know of. So I'm gonna place a little bit of that, just a little bit on my finger. And then I'm gonna put that aside, and I'm going to rub it on the top of this candle and say, Thurisaz, 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 Thurisaz. Rinse myself with the oil as well, and with a little bit of the blue wax. And now you can say something like this, or you can tailor your words a little differently depending on the spell that you're doing. But since I'm reaching out to my soul, the spirit behind everything, the spirit in this one, and the soul that will one day be a causal being, will be a god, I call out to my soul now. Soul in this one, soul in this body, soul timeless, I call out to you. Spirit beyond, soul within, guide this one. Help this one to see, help this one to realize, and help this one to be at peace. I call through the gate of fire. And I pledge myself to path forward, above and beyond, soul within this one. Bring peace, bring knowledge, bring realization. So mote it be, so mote it be, so mote it be. I have placed the candle somewhere important, right in front of the urn that holds some of my grandmother's ashes, before the ancestor, before the statue of a friend who had recently passed, and before my ancestral bowl, where I keep change and sage to be blessed and feathers. And next to a small marble image of a goddess, Athena, that I crafted myself, that I ground with a stone grinder into the little figurine that you see. And right next to the shell that I burned sage and sweetgrass in. I will now further empower the spell and this spell candle by burning some of this sweetgrass. Blessings from all, blessings to all. Blessings from all, blessings to all. Hail the spirit of this one. Hail the soul behind it all. Bring this one in which the soul and spirit reside, realization and peace. Hail, hail, hail. How do you understand soul and spirit? To me, spirit is life force. I just use those pretty interchangeably. So I was speaking both of the life force within me and the life force behind everything. The grander life force that this spirit is a part of and will return to. And the soul reservoir, the eternity behind everything. That peace that within us, the divine peace within us that's always recording everything. That's always very subtle deep within ourselves. Spirit and soul are very close, very similar, and they manifest in very, you could say, very esoteric and various literal ways. How they exist and how we understand them is very close to each other. Life force and consciousness. Soul is at the heart of consciousness. Spirit is what gives that consciousness life in this body. But how do you understand your ancestors? Do you have a place on your shrine? Do you have a shrine? Do you have an altar? Do you have ancestors? Do you have something that represents friends that have passed or friends that remain? Strong bonds that you have now and strong bonds to the hereafter. And how do you keep your space? How do you understand peace and realization? Are these things separate? And how do you manifest them in your mental space and in your external space? It's useful to contemplate what kind of materials that you can use and what kind of things can ease the transition of energies and manifestations. Keep all these things in mind as you move forward. Always keep your ties on multiple levels. Here, beyond, personal, and rather distant. We need connections on all these levels. And remember, if you're lonely, it's not because people aren't around you. It's because there are some connections within that need to be re-enlivened, and perhaps connections externally that need to be re-enlivened. Those connections are there. Just open those doors. Think about how to do that. Loneliness, stagnation, depression, sadness, anxiety, unbalance, chaos, all these things are connected. They all have similar remedies. And if we can bring ourselves some peace, realization, will come. Thank you very much, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day. I am not this body. I am not this mind. There is peace. I am not this body. I am not this mind. There is peace. I am not this body. I am not this mind. There is peace. I am not this body. I am not this mind. There is peace.